this hotel, trying to find some peace alone.
Just wanted to talk a little bit about the B14. It's a two-person non-trapeze hiking skiff. It was designed by Julian Braithwaite back in about 1985. It currently is still the fastest two-person non-trapeze, non-foiling boat on the water. It's sailed by a number of different crews, ranging from youths right the way up to the older pensioners in the fleet. We've got about 22 boats here today taking part in the Nationals, and I'm sure all of them will be out on the water today. It's an asymmetric boat with a 30 square metre kite. It's a kite that's bagged. It doesn't come into a chute in the bow. It still looks as modern today as it did look futuristic back then. It's really nice to actually have a boat that actually planes upwind. It's stunning. It's a very simple boat to sail. It only has Cunningham kicker and outhaul. There's no way to adjust the mast rake or shrouds or tension or mast rams or anything on the water, so that really makes you focus on the sailing and sailing the boat right and well, and as a true team. Some people think it's a crew-led boat, but I personally think it's a true symbiosis between crew and helm to make the boat go really quick. The boat is a one design class. It has evolved slowly over the years. Originally, when it started out, it had an aluminium mast. Now it has a carbon mast, and originally it had aluminium racks, and now it's got carbon racks. The weights are all controlled so that they're all still roughly the same weight. So boats that have got now carbon racks may be carrying a little bit of lead just to bring it up to the same weight. The boat has a fully battened mainsail from a variety of manufacturers. So although it's a one design boat designed by built by Seavolution, you can choose your sails as long as they measure from different manufacturers, which gives you obviously much more scope for trying different things and tailoring the sails to suit your particular type of sailing.
Going to talk about B14 setup today. The B14 actually, once you're set up on shore, it's quite simple on the water. You can only really adjust the kicker, Cunningham, main sheet and jib sheet, but all of those controls are really important. Before you go out, important to get your rig set up, so your mast rake and your lowers and uppers tension and forestay tension are pretty key. There are a standard set of numbers, so I think most people are using those. We move our mast rake around a little bit, but it's quite a big call because you can't adjust it on the water. So we'll only drop it back if we're convinced the day's going to be windy. So for example, this morning when we came down, it looked quite windy, but the forecast was for the breeze to drop, so we didn't drop the rake back, and thankfully that was the right call because the wind dropped right off for the first couple of races, so we didn't want to be depowered. But once you're set up and you're out sailing, as I say, it's just a few controls, but the boat's really sensitive to those controls. So particularly main sheet and jib sheet trimming, you've got to be on that all the time, especially in light winds. Lots of trimming, lots of adjustment to keep the boat moving, keep the boat driving, but at the same time, as soon as you've got a bit of that drive and movement, you want to be coming in to get height. So it's a fine line. You've almost got to be on the edge of killing it with too much tension, but never going over that edge. So you're always trying to get towards that kind of edge of the sails dying and the foils dying in the light winds. As the breeze comes up, I mean certainly in the light winds I won't use any kicker. I'll just be using the main sheet to tension the leech to keep a nice powerful sail. But then as soon as the breeze is up, as soon as you're both fully hiking and you're trying to dump power and you're spilling the main, then you'll come on with the kicker. We use quite a lot of kicker. We're a little bit cagey because we have snapped a few booms, so we've got a line that comes along here, a knot that comes along here, so we're well calibrated, so we never go past 4 because we know beyond that point things start to creak, but it gives us some calibration of where we should go with the kicker. And then the Cunningham's pretty critical. Once the breeze gets up in the B14, you start to run out of places to go to depower. So you've got to really pull the Cunningham hard to bend off the top of the mast. Then, while I remember, because we haven't been in the boat a while, so we only just remembered today, the centreboard is critical as well. So in the light winds, you'll have the board all the way down, and then you'll gradually be bringing it up just to reduce that drag and stop the boat tripping over. So you get a feel for it. You just push the board down a bit too far, you feel the boat start to trip and it doesn't go and accelerate. You just bring it up a little bit, and then the boat unlocks and accelerates every time you get a gust. So the centreboard adjustment is pretty key as well. Then in terms of technique, I think fore-aft positioning on the B14 is absolutely critical. The wing's actually quite a long way back in the boat. It's in the back half of the boat, so you're only really both sat on the wing and moving back at all on it upwind when it's pretty breezy. In the marginal hiking conditions, you're really aiming to get right on the front of that wing. It's a little bit uncomfy. You're almost coming off the edge of the wing, and certainly Toby will stay on the foredeck as long as possible in light winds. And if the wind comes up, he'll kind of be somewhere, he'll kind of hover, I don't know how he does it, but somewhere between the deck and the wing. And then when it goes light, crew definitely on the foredeck. The B's just so responsive. Every gust, lull, you'll get a gain if you can just move at the right time, which again Toby's so good at, that feel and balance for the boat. So you've got to be really dynamic. You're always on your toes, you're always moving, you're always doing something. Then I'd say downwind, again the fore-aft is absolutely critical. So you quickly go as the wind builds from crew being on the foredeck to, as it comes up to this sort of wind, 15 knots or so, you're both on the back corner. So the range of movement is big and is really, really important. It's very sensitive to fore-aft movement. So yeah, I think those are the key things for sailing the B14.